Welcome to FinTotal's Investing in Gold Guide. In this module, we will look at the basics of gold investment. By the end of this video, you will understand different methods of gold investment and why gold should be an integral part of investment portfolio. Before actually buying gold, you need to decide if you want to use it for personal use or strictly as an investment. Never mix both. If you want to buy gold strictly as an investment, never ever buy gold jewelry and coins. So now you must be wondering, how else can I buy gold? We will see that in the remaining video. These are the topics we'll be covering in this video. First, we'll tell you why you need to invest in gold. Then, why should you not buy gold coins and jewelry? Third, we will take you through different methods of gold investment other than the actual physical gold. Fourth, we will look at the different positives and negatives of gold investment. And in the end, we'll show you step by step procedure to invest in different types of gold. Why you should consider gold as an investment. Gold as an asset is a must have for every individual's investment portfolio. You cannot avoid gold if you want your investment to give returns above the inflation rate. Gold as an asset class is seen to have two important benefits. Whenever there is a global downturn like war, maybe strikes against the government, the gold prices tend to increase. Also, history has shown that gold has always overtaken the inflation growth rate. You can expect gold prices to appreciate more than all other assets during periods of economic strain, since investors consider gold as safe. But the net effect, that is over 10 to 15 years, the gold prices will be just a little over inflation. So in short, the gold balances the risk of all other asset classes, and it should be a valuable part of a portfolio. Here we will see why you should not buy gold coins and jewelry as investment, and why you should go for other types of gold investment. Gold is certainly good to have in investment, but we need to graduate from the traditional physical gold. If the gold is kept safe in the locker of your bank, you need to pay the bank certain charges. There is making charge for gold jewelry charged by the gold retailers, which is around 10 to 15% of the value. This is an useless price to pay considering gold for investment. If you hold ETFs for more than a year, it comes under long-term bracket. But for physical gold, you need to wait at least 3 years. And also, 1% wealth tax is also applied. Banks are the biggest sellers of gold coins and bars. They charge a premium of around 8% on the prevailing price. This is the worst reason for avoiding coins and bars. Banks don't buy back coins or bars, so we are left with gold retailers. You need to run from one retailer to another to find someone willing to buy at a good price, but many of them would refuse to buy gold coins from others. 80% of the gold we buy needs to be imported, so this creates account deficit as gold imports constitute major part of import. The situation worsens when rupee depreciates. So we suggest you buy gold as investment, but not going for gold coins, jewelry or bars. There are 3 recommended methods of gold investment other than jewelry and gold coins. The first one is e-gold. The second, gold mutual funds. And the third, gold ETFs. We will see what is e-gold all about. E-gold is similar to shares that are bought and sold in the stock exchange. The concept is very simple. You can buy units of gold whenever you wish from the exchange and hold it in demat form. And when you want, you can sell it for rupees or gold. Every unit of e-gold is backed by 1 gram of physical gold. To trade in NSEL, that is National Sport Exchange Limited, you need to have a trading account and a demat account, and the demat account should be different from the one you have for equities. E-gold is treated like physical gold for tax purposes. Short-term capital gains tax is applicable. If selling after 3 years, then long-term capital gain tax of 20% with indexation is charged. E-gold also attracts filth tax. You can convert e-gold unit to physical gold through rematerialization. Delivery is currently made at 13 cities all over India. Also, a conversion fee is charged along with VAT plus octroi. Since trading is done in pan-India level, price prices are almost same throughout the country, unlike the gold coins and bars. There is no storage cost involved since units are held in demat form. Annual storage cost ranges between rupees 500 and rupees 15,000. The purity of gold is assured. NSEL keeps gold bars and coins of 995 purity. Units as small as 1 gram can be redeemed for physical gold. This is one reason why small investors should choose e-gold over ETFs, since in ETF you need to accumulate a minimum of 1 kg to redeem units in gold. Getting into conclusion, e-gold as an investment vehicle is yet to catch up with investors. Since commodity exchanges are less regulated than stock exchanges, they might be more risky, and liquidity for e-gold is increasing phenomenally. When the market for e-gold becomes sufficiently large, e-gold could become the first choice of investors for gold investment. Now let's look at the gold mutual funds. If you don't have a demat account and a trading account, a good way to invest in gold is through mutual funds. Gold mutual funds are funds that invest in gold ETFs. Here the prices move faster and further in both directions than the price of a physical gold. A big advantage with gold mutual fund is that you are not compelled to buy complete units unlike an ETF. For example, if you have 1000 rupees to invest, you can invest this money in gold mutual fund but not sufficient for gold ETFs. Also, there is an option of systematic investment where you can buy for as little as rupees 100 every month. SIPs are a good way to accumulate gold as an investment. The difference between gold ETFs and gold mutual funds belonging to the same fund house ranges from 0.05% to 3%. The fact remains that gold mutual funds have not performed better than gold ETFs. Another factor is the high expense ratio. Expense ratio is the fee charged by an asset management companies for managing the fund for you. Expense ratio ranges from 0.25% to 0.5%. Also added is the expense ratio of gold ETFs, that is in the range of 1 to 1.5%. When this adds up, the overall expense ratio shoots up to 2%. So the longer the investment period, more painful it gets. So if you are planning to buy a gold mutual fund, bear in mind that the returns of gold mutual fund should be close to the ETFs. Also should be considered is the overall expense ratio. Currently, Quantum Gold Savings Fund scores best on these criteria. Gold ETFs are open-ended gold funds listed in stock exchange. A fee of around 1% is charged by the company managing the ETF. Gold ETFs allow you to buy units corresponding to 1 gram of gold. This is held in demat form and you need a demat account to get started. Gold ETFs provide an opportunity to investors to accumulate gold over a given period of time. Since it can be purchased in small quantities, one can plan the procurement as per future requirements. Now let's look at its few advantages. Since they are exchange traded, you can buy and sell units whenever you please. Gold retailers may not readily buy gold that you have bought from another retailers. True price. Pricing mechanism is more efficient. With gold retailers, there is a danger of mispricing. Gold ETFs buy gold that is 99.5% pure. Gold ETFs are treated like non-equity mutual funds for tax purposes. That is, short-term and long-term tax apply. Also, wealth tax is applied. Your selection criteria must include expense ratio and trading volume, especially when you are looking at it from a long-term investment point of view. Even a 0.5% difference in expense ratio will make a huge difference to your net returns due to compounding. Not all funds traded currently have significant trading volumes to give smooth liquidity. Choose the fund whose volume of trading is highest and with the lowest expense ratio. Each of the different types of gold investment has its own merits and demerits. First, let's look at e-gold. There is no annual charge or recurring charges like expense ratio involved in e-gold. As mentioned earlier in the video, e-gold can be redeemed for actual gold. The third point is the price is same throughout the country. The first disadvantage of e-gold is that you need to have two sets of account, that is a trading account and a demat account. Also for taxation purpose it's treated as gold, so capital gains tax is applied over here. Commodity exchange is not large enough to be regulated, but when the market is large enough, e-gold will be a superb opportunity. Going on to gold ETFs, whatever you buy will correspond to the units of actual gold. The returns of gold ETF is almost similar to the e-gold. The long-term capital gains tax of 10% without indexation or 20% with indexation kicks in after a year. Again, for gold ETFs, you need to have a separate trading account and a demat account. Now let's look at gold mutual funds. The first advantage is the SIP option is available, thus it is affordable and instills discipline. Again here, long-term capital gains tax of 10% without indexation or 20% with indexation applies after a year. And the disadvantage of gold mutual fund is the expense ratio of gold ETF is added to gold mutual funds expense ratio. Overall, this leads to high expense ratio when both of these expense ratios add up. And thus the returns are also relatively lesser to the gold ETFs. How to invest in e-gold? For trading in e-gold, you need to open client account, which is trading account, and a beneficiary account, which is basically a demat account. They are different from the trading account and demat account which you have for shares. On NSEL's website, search the list of brokers for client account. You can approach them to open a client account. And for beneficiary account, this can be made with the same broker if he is also a depository participant registered with NSEL. If he is not a depository participant, then you can choose a different depository participant depending on your convenience and other charges. Once you create the client account and a beneficiary account, e-gold units can be bought and sold like shares. Now let's look at gold ETFs. The first step is to open a demat and a trading account. Demat account holds your physical securities in electronic form. Trading account is used to transact in shares and debentures. Log into your online trading account and look up at gold ETFs listed in NSE or BSE. Check price and select the number of units you wish to buy. Now we'll move to how to invest in gold mutual funds. First, complete application form. Application form can be downloaded from the fund's website. Make sure all the documents are attached like PAN card, KYC verification sheet, etc. Paying by check is the best way to pay for this investment. The name to be written on the check is typically given in the application form. You can deposit the form in the nearest office of the mutual fund you are investing. Also, you can hand forms to a broker. In the website of mutual fund, you will find transaction slips that allow you to make subsequent transaction in the fund's redemption. So let's go to the action plan. What you should do regarding gold investment. History has shown that gold has always overtaken inflation. If you look at the last 5 years, the gold has given annual returns of about 15% against 19% which is given by stock market, which is pretty decent. If you are planning for your future or marriage, you better have a small portion of your investment in gold. So we recommend that at least you have 5 to 10% of your investment portfolio in gold. Hope this video helped you in adding knowledge. We believe that having basic personal finance knowledge can have a tremendous positive effect in one's life. If you have any doubts or if you were not able to understand any part of this video, please do write to us at info@fintotal.com. Thanks a lot for watching this video.